Hey, greetings YouTube, Performance Reviews, where I give you the review from the technician's point of view. And today we're going to talk about accessories. This is going to be the first of many videos to come on vacuum cleaner accessories, which are often as important as the vacuum cleaner itself. Now what I have here is a retractable hose system, which means this hose goes back in the wall and comes out. Unfortunately, there's no way to use an electrical connection on a hide-to-hose system. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, allow me to elaborate. Usually with a central vacuum, you have something like this, which plugs in and has an electrical connection. And as you can see, there are no electrical connections. In fact, it won't even fit on there. Which means when you want a deep clean carpet and you have one of these retractable hose systems, you can't actually use this electric power head. You have to go get yourself what they call a turbo power head, which means it's air driven, which can really be a problem at high altitudes. These things never spin up as well. They never quite deep clean carpet as well. And when you look at these things, they have a very restrictive air path. It's about as wide as my finger. So what if, instead of trying to draw all that electricity through a hose, we put the electricity on the unit itself, now that battery technology is smaller and lighter. So what the good folks at Wessel Werk have done is they have put a battery pack on the back of a wand. I want to compare this just to really show you the difference. You can see that battery pack really isn't that much bulkier than the normal central vac electric wand. It is slightly heavier, but again, it's still very lightweight, and the weight, when you're using it, is going to be down low, so it's not going to be up in the hand. It's not really going to be as felt. Now, by doing that, they converted this to DC. So don't worry, if you have already one of these in your house, you're not going to mix them up. The wands are not interchangeable. Vice versa, you know, DC is not going to power AC, so that's not going to work. Hopefully, no fears there. That should answer the question about whether or not you could just buy the wand. No, you can't. There are lots of internal things that need to be changed as well. But when you have an established carpet nozzle, and this is arguably one of the best in the industry, if not the best in the industry, that's up for debate, but it's the one that I like the best out of all the different nozzles. Now they also put upgraded low-profile pedals on this as well. So what you have here is something that I can just power on at any time. Doesn't even have to be connected. Of course, it's not going to work or suck anything like that, but being able to just power that on, plug my hide-to-hose, again, which has no electricity into it, and go deep clean my carpets, well, that's a game changer. Instead of having to have these electrical hoses and an electric nozzle that has to draw electricity from your house, this has its own separate power pack, its own separate power. This actually adds a lot of mechanical simplicity to central vacuums. So I think we'll see people who have older central vacuums, they'll be delighted to have a modern nozzle. People just installing a central vacuum for the first time, this is going to work great, and it's going to lower the cost of your install because you might not need an electric outlet all over your house. The charger, it's just very basic, very simple. This just plugs in right there, and it will begin to charge. You can see mine is almost fully charged. Charging time for me ended up being about 2.5 to 3 hours is how long this took to charge. As far as how much juice I actually got out of this thing, I got about 40 minutes of runtime, which is enough to do my house about 2 times over before I had to put it back on the charger. So figure charge this thing every other time you use it. You have a height adjustment over here, it goes up to 5. Quite a bit of adjustment, so, you know, no matter how deep your pile is, I think this has you covered. You have your other pedal release here, and these are the newer low-profile pedals. On the bottom side, there is a squeegee, so that makes bare floor friendly if you want to turn the brush off and go to bare floor. And then we have a line on the brush roller to cut off any hair, anything like that. And of course we have a chevron-shaped brush, which means it pulls the stuff from the edge into the center. And you can see the edge cleaning there. and the metal height adjustment. And the wheels have this nice soft rubber on them. They're going to be non-marring. The other great thing, just like the original EBK360, is it has a long life belt system where if you get something jammed in it, it's going to shut off automatically and not break any of the internal parts. All you have to do to reset it is a simple power cycle, and it's back to life, no harm done. So here is why the turbos just never quite work like a full-size electric powerhead. You can see that the path is very, very wide in there, unrestricted. When we take a look at turbos, and this one's made by the same company, arguably one of my favorites, you can see the path is very, very narrow in there. Very narrow, and then all the stuff then has to move, because it's air-driven, not an electric motor, has to move through this fan, which has a possibility of breaking or things getting stuck in there. And that story repeats itself when we talk about something like the Turbo Cat, which is probably the most common one we see, and again, very, very narrow cleaning path. In fact, this spits things out when it's too big. Now, I really want to show the difference between this electric head and something like this Turbo Cat. And the Turbo Cat was a great design back in its day, but these are things I've both used in my house regularly. And one thing you'll see is different than the normal pickup tests I usually do, is I've put some large pieces of dog food. So you're going to see what the Turbo Cat does versus this electric nozzle from Wessel Werk. Let's see how they do. See that? Let's see how this does. And you notice that did not spit anything out. It just picked everything up. And that's a huge difference between having a bunch of this stuff thrown back at your feet and being able to just pick it up like a regular vacuum cleaner with your retractable hose system. Alright, we're going to do our standard pickup test of breakfast cereal, cat litter, flour, and fresh pet hair with the EBK360 DC. Let's see how it does. Now I have to go turn on the Hida hose, so I'm going to edit my walking back and forth here. Well then. Well, I think those results speak for themselves. Just like the plug-in version of this nozzle, the cleaning is some of the best we see in the industry with electric nozzles. We're going to do that same mess with the brush off on hard floor, just to show you its hard floor capability. Well, let's see how it did. Really, really well. You notice it didn't leave anything behind. And again, this is very typical of the EBK nozzle. It's a very efficient design. The way that this machine has been designed, it channels the air very well. In conclusion, I have to ask you, what seems easier? Pulling out a hose that's about twice as heavy as a retractable hose system and having to plug it in every room, every other room, depending on how your house is laid out, or just plugging this simple unit in to a retractable hose system and going to town? I think the answer is clear. This is going to change how we've been using our central vacuums. I hope this has answered most of the questions you have about this product. If you are considering either upgrading your Hida hose system or only going with a retractable hose system with your central vacuum, this product makes that possible, especially if you have thicker soft pile carpet like I do. This really is a game changer. Now, there are a couple of different models they have. This is the EBK360 DC. They do also make a smaller EBK 280 DC. I will discuss this in its own video, but basically this is for area rugs and very low pile carpets, and it's also a little bit more compact. But this is the full-size nozzle, and it's the real deal. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about Henry's and other straight suction canisters and the application this would really hold for that sort of machine. We're going to do a retrofit video on canisters. It's going to be its own separate video. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button for that, or hit the notification bell if you're really anxious about that. Big thank you to Wessel Werk USA for sending me this nozzle for evaluation. And I say they sent it to me after I hounded them for over a year after seeing the prototype. So I kind of begged them for this, and they actually sent it to me. So I'm really thankful for the guys over there, but no money was exchanged in the making of this video. I just want to be clear about that. Well, thanks for watching my Wessel Werk EBK360 DC video. I'm going to go vacuum my house now with this lovely nozzle. You folks have a great day.